Well, hello and welcome back. Today I will combine an ostracod culture with a Daphnia culture. I believe the two species that we have can coexist and do quite nicely together, hopefully forming a massive mega swarm. And yeah, I look forward to that. So you may remember here on the channel a while back, I built 4 leech jar aquariums, trying to raise leeches indoors and see if we couldn't keep them alive. These leeches fed on bladder snails. So it was kind of a rough thing to do. Unfortunately, these jars did not work out. I started with 4 and I had to dump one out into the ponds because it had a number of dragonfly larvae inside. But the snails were hunted into extinction, unfortunately. And so then the leeches starved out as well because they had no prey. But this left these jars a horrible mess with no snails inside. There's nobody to clean the glass, and it gets a lot of algae and debris. There might even be some cyanobacteria in here. So we will probably have to dump these jars out into one of the ponds. But there are a ton of ostracods inside, quite a few in these 3 jars, and I want to save them. Yes, we love our ostracods. I'd love to just start a new culture for them, so that's what we're going to do. And afterward, I'll take these jars outside and add them to the bucket ponds ecosystem out there. And here's our new jar container. I chose a tall square jar because the ostracods seem to do really well in a square container. I know that sounds like a weird observation, but they seem to like sitting in the corners. I'm not going to add any substrate. Instead, we're going to add a single piece of scallop shell, the seashell that I got for pretty cheap on Amazon. And so that will help to control the pH of the water, to add some calcium, possibly even encourage some algae to grow, and that's fine. So now I'm just taking injections. I'm taking samples of the ostracods from those jars and adding them to our project. I'm also going to inject some green water in here. This is a debate that I've entered a few times with you guys, and that's if the green water really helps in ostracod culture. I think it does. In much the same way that our Daphnia benefit from green water. They've been doing very well. These are the same Daphnia that I captured from that swamp collection trip recently. Well, it's the descendants of those Daphnia. It's their offspring, I should say. But we're just going to inject them right here into this new project. And I think they should live quite nicely alongside the ostracods. But that is something we've talked about. Do the ostracods feed on green water algae? And I believe that at least the species that I have, I believe they do. All of my best ostracod cultures are green, so I'm just going to keep that going. Now, I did hear that the Daphnia would completely eliminate our green water, and that hasn't happened yet, but I still have high hopes for them. And we can even, watch this tank in time and see what happens. But I've been raising some of them off screen for another video coming up, and they're doing very well. I think that's really cool when we can go out into the wild, capture a whole new type of microfauna, and bring them home and just adopt them into our ecosystem. I think it's really cool. But our jar culture here looks good, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I did add a single piece of moss from one of our other aquariums, and this moss was sticking up out of the water. It was kind of dry, so we'll wait and see what happens. It should be okay. I'm also going to add a bit of water meal. That's the little duckweed things stuck on my glove here. And here's a look at the surface if you've never seen it before. It's very much like a tiny duckweed. I think it's really cool. And some people really like water meal, so I'm one of those people. But now I'm going to add a few bladder snails as well. Let me introduce you to Mario and Luigi. Yeah, no copyright infringement intended. But these two are going to be our glass cleaning crew here in the tank. They will cruise around and constantly scrape the glass, prevent those algae issues that we saw in the other jars. A little bit of duckweed did fall off of my glove, and I'm going to just put that into the tank. I know a young bucket ponds guy who would have loved to have that little bit of duckweed a while back. So waste not, want not, right? And now we need to add a lid for this project. We do need a lid to prevent any debris or, cats or flying insects from getting into the project. So for this one, I'm going to keep it really simple. I'm just going to use some cheesecloth and a rubber band. That's perfect. This will allow the tank to breathe. It will still allow some light through there, and it should work out very nicely. Easy to remove, a little finicky to put back on with the rubber band, but yeah, this should last for the lifetime of this culture. I didn't have to spend 30 bucks buying some kind of crazy terrarium light and lid combo or anything like that. We'll just improvise, make it work. And there we go. So the jar is beautiful. As far as an ostracod culture goes, we're going to cut to a few days later here in just a moment. And yeah, I'm very happy with this, you guys. It looks great. I don't see a single problem. We should be able to raise a ton of ostracods in here and quite a few Daphnia as well. If I'm lucky, the two swarms will coexist and we'll have a beautiful covenant of aquatic species forming right here. Here we are a few days later, and I'd just like to say thank you to my YouTube and Patreon supporters. You guys are great. Uh, you're a big reason why I'm doing so well right now. So thank you. If you'd like to join, become a member, please do. It's a lot of fun. I try to add a daily post and some cool stuff when I can. And here we go. So, and right now I'm outside talking to the camera, and that's what we like to do sometimes with the outros. So I hope that you understand. If nothing else, you got to see how I'm raising ostracods here, and maybe that might help you a little bit. Please like, subscribe, and say thank you to our YouTube members and Patreon supporters who help make this all possible. Anyway, it's raining, and I'm going to go inside. So have a great day, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully there'll be some suggested videos popping up right there. Check them out.